means, gentlemen, let me ask you something straight from the heart. How many of you have ever sat staring at your phone, waiting for a message that never came? You keep checking, means thinking maybe she's busy, maybe she's asleep, maybe she'll text later, and yet silence. You're the one always starting the conversations, always reaching out, means always making the effort. And deep down, you start to feel that heavy question if she really cared, means wouldn't she call or text me first? Recognize the pattern. If she never initiates, means understand it's not random. It's a pattern that reveals her level of interest or effort. Let's talk about what it really means when you recognize the pattern of someone never calling or texting you first, means. At first, it might not even bother you. You might excuse it, telling yourself maybe she's just busy, maybe she's shy, or maybe she just likes when you take the lead, means. And sure, those things can happen once or twice, but when you start to notice that it's always you initiating, always you making the effort, means always you pouring in energy to keep the connection alive, then it's no longer a coincidence. It's a pattern, and patterns speak louder than words ever will. Means the biggest mistake most men make at this stage is ignoring that pattern because they don't want to face the truth it reveals. Means they cling to the hope that one day she'll wake up and suddenly start putting in effort. They mistake her silence for subtlety, means, or they interpret her lack of action as some kind of test they need to pass. But let me tell you, if she truly values you, if she truly sees you as someone worth her time, means she won't make you guess. She won't leave you hanging, staring at your phone, questioning your worth. People don't forget to reach out to the ones they care about, means they make the effort because they want to, not because they're reminded to. So recognizing the pattern is about being honest with yourself, means it's about stepping out of the fantasy you've built in your head and into the reality of her actions. If she never calls or texts you first, it means that in her world, means you're not the priority you might think you are. And I know that stings. It's uncomfortable. Nobody likes to admit they're putting in more than they're getting back, means. But facing that discomfort is far better than living in denial, because denial steals your energy, your self-respect, and your peace of mind. When you start noticing patterns, means you reclaim your power. You stop letting someone's lack of effort confuse you, and instead you let it clarify things for you. Because effort is never accidental, means when someone makes time for you, it's because they've chosen to. And when they consistently don't, that's also a choice, means. So instead of inventing excuses for why she isn't reaching out, accept what her silence is really telling you. It doesn't matter how busy someone claims to be, means if they want you in their life, they will find a moment, even a small one, to show it. And here's another truth, means recognizing the pattern doesn't mean you react with anger or bitterness. It doesn't mean you label her as a villain or yourself as a victim. Means it means you observe with clarity. You see her actions for what they are, without sugarcoating, without overanalyzing. And in that clarity, means you make decisions that protect your self-respect. Because the moment you see the pattern clearly, you can no longer play blind. Means you either accept less than you deserve, or you step into the strength of walking away from what drains you. Means the reason so many people struggle in relationships is because they confuse words with effort. Someone might tell you they care, but if they're never reaching out, means never initiating, never showing up when it counts, then their words mean nothing. Recognition is not about being suspicious or paranoid. It's about being awake. Means it's about paying attention to actions more than promises, because actions always reveal what the heart truly values. When you recognize this pattern, means something powerful happens inside you. You stop chasing shadows and you start demanding substance. Means you stop handing out your energy to people who can't be bothered to reciprocate, and you start reserving it for those who genuinely want to be in your life. Means that shift alone changes everything, because when you learn to value yourself enough to stop tolerating one-sided connections, means you raise the standard for how people are allowed to treat you. And let's be honest, if she never calls or texts you first, ask yourself, means, is this how you want to feel long-term? Do you want to spend your days wondering if you matter, constantly guessing if you're enough, means, or begging for attention that should come naturally? That's not love, that's imbalance. And imbalance always leads to frustration, resentment, and pain. means. So I'm here to tell you, recognize the pattern early. Don't ignore it. Don't excuse it. Don't justify it. See it for what it is. Because when you see it clearly, means you can save yourself from months, even years of wasted energy. And instead of asking why she doesn't reach out, means you can start asking yourself a far more important question: why am I tolerating this? The answer to that question is what will set you free. Means it will remind you that your time, your energy, your love are valuable. Means, and the right woman will never let you carry the entire weight of connection on your shoulders alone. Don't chase. Stop sending multiple texts or calls trying to win her attention. Means over chasing lowers your value and kills attraction. When you find yourself in a situation where you are the one always making the calls, always sending the messages, means always taking the first step, the natural instinct is to push harder. You start telling yourself that maybe she didn't see your text. Means maybe she's just waiting for you to show more interest. Maybe she needs reassurance that you're truly into her. And so you keep chasing, means thinking that the more effort you pour in, the more she will eventually recognize your value and give you back the same energy. But the truth is, means over chasing is one of the quickest ways to lose both your dignity and her attraction. Every time you overextend yourself, you shift the dynamic. Means instead of being the man who carries himself with calm confidence, you become the man who is desperately trying to convince someone else of his worth. Means. And here's the hard reality: worth is never proven by how much you chase, it's proven by how much you value yourself. Means if you're constantly knocking at a door that never opens, all you're showing is that you don't believe you deserve better than silence. Means over chasing kills attraction because it creates imbalance. Relationships are built on a flow of energy that feels mutual. When only one person is pushing, means the other starts pulling away even more. Think about it: when someone is constantly trying to win your attention and never gives you space to breathe, means don't you instinctively withdraw? The same principle applies here. The more you chase, the more she feels the need to retreat. And before long, means instead of drawing her closer, you've pushed her further away. The irony is that many men believe persistence is proof of strength, when in reality, means restraint is the true mark of confidence. Anyone can send 20 texts hoping for a reply. Means, but it takes discipline and self-respect to hold back when someone isn't reciprocating. Means, that's where your value shines, when you show that your world doesn't collapse because someone else isn't matching your effort. Means, what most men don't realize is that over chasing also creates the wrong perception. Instead of seeing you as a man she should be excited to connect with, means she starts seeing you as someone who needs her validation to feel good about himself. And nothing kills respect faster than that. Attraction thrives in respect. Means, and respect is built when you show that your time and your attention are valuable commodities, not freebies handed out to anyone who ignores you. Means, pulling back isn't about playing games or manipulating someone into giving you attention. It's about setting a natural boundary. It's saying, means, I'm willing to give effort, but only if it's matched. That balance protects you from exhaustion, and it forces the other person to reveal their true intentions. Means, if she cares, she will step up. If she doesn't, she won't. Either way, you have your answer without needing to chase endlessly. Means, you also need to understand that over chasing doesn't just affect the relationship, it affects you. It drains your energy, it clouds your focus, means, and it steals your self-worth. You find yourself waiting by the phone, crafting the perfect text, overthinking every word, means, and slowly forgetting that you have a life beyond her. That obsession is what keeps so many men trapped in cycles of frustration. Means, constantly trying harder for someone who has already shown through her actions that she's not willing to meet them halfway. Means, the most powerful thing you can do in that moment is step back and reclaim your energy, redirect it into yourself, your goals, your growth. Means, the right person will never require you to lose yourself in pursuit of them. The right person will meet you where you are. Means, with the same eagerness and consistency you bring to the table. So don't confuse over chasing with genuine effort. Means, genuine effort is when two people are showing up for each other in ways that feel balanced and natural. Means, over chasing is when one person is trying to drag the connection forward on their own. And the sad reality is, no matter how hard you chase, means you can't build something real if the other person isn't moving with you. You deserve someone who looks at their phone and thinks, means, I wonder how he's doing today, and reaches out without hesitation. You deserve someone who doesn't leave you wondering where you stand, means. And you'll never find that if you're busy pouring all of yourself into someone who can't even send you a simple text first. So when the temptation comes to chase harder, means to prove yourself by doubling your effort, remind yourself that the strongest move isn't to do more, it's to do less. Because the man who doesn't over chase means the man who knows when to pull back, the man who trusts his value enough not to beg for attention, means that is the man who commands both respect and genuine attraction. Mirror her effort, match the energy she gives you. If she doesn't initiate, means don't keep carrying the entire weight of the relationship. When you find yourself in a connection where you are constantly giving and the other person is barely lifting a finger, means it's natural to feel unbalanced. You're the one calling, you're the one texting, you're the one checking in, and after a while, means you start to feel like you're carrying the whole relationship on your shoulders. That imbalance eats away at you quietly, making you question your worth, your importance, means, and whether she really cares at all. But here's the truth you need to understand: relationships aren't built on one person doing all the work, means. They're built on reciprocity. They grow when both people are putting in effort, when both are investing energy, when both are showing that they value each other, means. That's why you must learn to mirror her effort. Mirroring doesn't mean being cold or shutting her out. It means aligning your energy with what she gives, means. If she reaches out, you respond with the same warmth. If she puts in effort, you meet her halfway. But if she never initiates, means. If she never takes the time to text or call you first, then you stop carrying all the weight. Because when you keep over-delivering while she under-delivers, means you're telling her without words that this behavior is acceptable. You're teaching her that you'll always be there, no matter how little she does in return, means. And once she knows that, there's no reason for her to change. The power of mirroring is that it exposes the truth. When you step back and simply match her effort, means you'll see her intentions more clearly than ever before. If she values you, she will notice the shift. She'll realize that she has to show up too, means that she can't just sit back and enjoy your energy without giving anything in return. And often that's the moment when she starts making the effort. But if she doesn't, means if she simply lets the connection fade, then you've also learned something valuable. She was never willing to invest in you in the first place. And while that might sting, means it's better to know now than to waste months or years convincing yourself that one day she'll change. Mirroring is also about respecting yourself. It's about saying, means, I deserve balance. I deserve someone who gives as much as they receive. Because when you constantly go above and beyond for someone who does the bare minimum, means you're not showing strength. You're showing a lack of boundaries. And boundaries are what keep relationships healthy. They prevent you from being drained, means from being taken for granted, from losing yourself in the process of trying to hold on to someone else, means. Many people think that pulling back or mirroring effort will make them lose the other person. But let me ask you this, means. What do you really lose if she disappears the moment you stop carrying everything? You're not losing a genuine connection. You're losing an illusion. Means you're losing the version of her you created in your mind, not the reality of how she's treating you. And once you let go of that illusion, means you free yourself to create space for someone who will actually meet you halfway without hesitation. Mirroring effort also shifts the dynamic in your favor, means when she sees that you're not endlessly available, that you're not going to keep chasing without reciprocity, she begins to view you differently, means she sees you as someone with standards, someone who values his time, someone who doesn't settle for being treated like an option, and respect grows from that, means attraction grows from that, because people are naturally drawn to those who carry themselves with self-worth. But let's be clear, mirroring is not about playing games, means. It's not about pretending to be distant just to manipulate her into chasing you. It's about alignment. It's about honesty, means it's about ensuring that your effort reflects the reality of what she's giving, not the fantasy of what you wish she would give. That way, means You stay grounded in truth rather than drowning in hope. The moment you start mirroring effort, you take back your power. You stop feeling desperate. You stop feeling drained, means. And you stop feeling like her attention is the prize you have to win. Instead, you remind yourself that you are the prize, that your energy, your attention, means, and your time are valuable, and they should be given only to someone who appreciates them enough to reciprocate. And maybe the most important part of all is this, means. Mirroring teaches you patience. It teaches you to sit back and observe rather than forcing things. Because if she's truly interested, means she won't let silence linger for too long. She will step forward. But if she doesn't, you'll have your answer without needing to chase, without needing to beg, means without needing to overextend yourself. So remember, balance is everything. If you're always initiating and she's never returning the same energy, means stop carrying the whole load, match her effort. Let her show you through her actions how much she truly values you. And if her actions speak of indifference, believe them, means because the woman who genuinely cares won't make you wonder. She'll make sure you feel it. Give space for investment, pull back, and allow her the chance to invest in you. Means attraction grows when she feels she could lose your attention. There comes a point in every connection where you have to pause and ask yourself, means, am I giving this person the space to invest in me, or am I doing so much that they never even get the chance? Too often, we confuse consistency with over-functioning, means. We keep calling, we keep texting, we keep planning, and we keep filling every gap with our own effort. The problem with that is simple. If you're doing everything, means she has no opportunity to do anything. And when someone has no opportunity to invest, they also have no opportunity to feel attachment. Means real attachment doesn't come from receiving, it comes from giving. When she gives her energy, her time, her thought, her words, that's when the bond grows. Means. But if she's not doing that, if you're never giving her the space to step forward, she will never feel the depth of connection you're craving. Means. The reason this is so powerful is because human beings don't value what comes too easily. We might enjoy it, we might take it, means, but we don't cherish it in the same way as something we've had to invest in. Think about it. When you work hard for something, means, when you've given your time and energy to it, don't you naturally hold it closer? You protect it, you appreciate it, you prioritize it. Means, but when it's simply handed to you without effort, you don't always recognize its value. That same principle applies in relationships. If you're doing all the work, means, if she never has to reach out, never has to wonder, never has to risk a little vulnerability by calling or texting first, means, then you've robbed her of the very chance to value you. Pulling back and giving space isn't about being manipulative, means. It's not about playing some twisted game of silence. It's about balance. It's about creating an environment where she has the opportunity to show her interest, means to reveal whether she truly wants to be there. When you stop filling every gap with your effort, you see what she does with that space. Does she lean in? Does she reach out? Means, does she step forward to maintain the connection? Or does she let it fade because she was never truly invested to begin with? Either way, the space tells you the truth. Means, and that truth is liberating even if it hurts at first, because it frees you from the exhausting cycle of overgiving. Means, it protects you from the slow erosion of your self-respect, and it reminds you that connection is not about carrying someone else. It's about walking together, means, side by side. When you allow her to invest, you are giving her the chance to demonstrate her care, her effort, her willingness to meet you in the middle, means. And if she doesn't take that chance, you have your answer without needing to beg or chase. The beauty of giving space is that it also creates attraction, means. People miss what they don't constantly have access to. When she realizes you're not always the one texting first, not always the one checking in, means not always the one doing all the work, she begins to notice your absence. She wonders what you're doing, who has your attention, where your energy is going. Means that curiosity awakens her to the possibility of losing you, and that's when she decides whether or not you matter enough for her to step forward. But even more than that, means giving space allows you to reclaim your power. Instead of living with your phone in your hand, waiting for a notification, you turn that focus inward. Means you start putting that same energy into your purpose, your passions, your growth. And as you rise, as you build yourself, means as you prove to yourself that your happiness doesn't hinge on a text message, you become magnetic. Means because nothing is more attractive than someone who doesn't need to be chased, someone who doesn't beg for attention, someone who is whole on their own. And yes, means it can feel uncomfortable at first. That silence can feel like rejection. But understand this silence is not rejection, it is information. Means if she fills the silence by reaching out, she's showing you she cares. If she doesn't, then she's showing you she was never really invested. Either way, means the silence gives you clarity, and clarity is a gift. You don't have to force what is real. You don't have to beg for what is genuine. Means the right person will not let the silence stretch too long without reaching out. The right person will take that space and use it to show you how much they value you. Means, and if she doesn't, then you've saved yourself from pouring your energy into a well that will never fill. Read the truth in her actions. Her lack of effort is information. Means if she consistently doesn't engage, means accept that she may not value you the same way. One of the hardest lessons to accept in relationships is that actions always speak louder than words. Means we can get lost in what someone tells us. We can replay their compliments, their promises, their little reassurances. But at the end of the day, means the truth is always in what they do. If she consistently never calls or texts you first, if she makes no effort to initiate or to reach out on her own, means then her actions are already telling you the story. The problem is most people don't want to listen to that story. They want to rewrite it in their head. Means they want to come up with reasons. They want to cling to the hope that maybe she's just shy. Maybe she doesn't like texting. Means maybe she's waiting for you to always take the lead. And in doing so, they ignore the reality in front of them. Means reading the truth in her actions means having the courage to face what is being revealed to you without denial. Means it means no longer hiding behind excuses or waiting for change that is unlikely to come. Because here's the reality: if someone truly values you, means they will not leave all the responsibility of connection on your shoulders. They will show up for you in ways that make you feel wanted, seen, and respected. Means it might not always be in big dramatic gestures, but it will be clear, consistent effort. And if you don't see that, means then you need to stop telling yourself a story that doesn't exist. It's painful, yes, because we want to believe in the best version of people. Means we want to believe that they feel the same way we do, even if their actions are telling us the opposite. But the sooner you accept what their behavior is revealing, means the sooner you set yourself free from the cycle of waiting, wondering, and chasing, you protect your energy from being wasted on someone who was never willing to give it back. Means the truth is, effort is the simplest measure of interest. Nobody is too busy to send a quick text. Nobody is too overwhelmed to say, hey, means I was thinking about you. People make time for who and what matters to them. And if she's not making that time, then she's telling you where you stand. Means that doesn't mean you're unworthy. It simply means she's not the one who's ready to give you what you deserve. Means. And it's better to see that clearly than to live in confusion, constantly waiting for a version of her that may never exist. When you begin to read the truth in her actions, means you take back your clarity. Instead of asking, why doesn't she text me first? You start asking, means, why am I ignoring the message her silence is already giving me? And that shift is powerful because it stops you from trying to force something that isn't there. Means it stops you from putting your self-worth in the hands of someone who isn't showing up. And let's be honest, when you keep ignoring her lack of effort, means you're not only allowing her to treat you as an option, you're also teaching yourself that it's acceptable. Means you're lowering your own standard without even realizing it. But when you face her actions for what they are, you begin to raise that standard back up. Means you remind yourself that you deserve reciprocity, not excuses. You deserve consistency, not confusion. You deserve someone who chooses you without hesitation. Means not someone who makes you prove yourself again and again. It takes strength to accept the truth, but it's that strength that protects you from heartbreak in the long run. Means because you'd rather walk away from someone who isn't investing than keep pouring into a connection that is draining you. Means. And here's the thing, you don't lose by letting go of someone who won't invest. You only gain the space to welcome someone who will. means you only open the door to a healthier, more balanced relationship where love and effort flow both ways. So when you're tempted to overlook her silence, means when you're tempted to write another excuse in your head, stop. Ask yourself what her actions are saying, not what her words or your imagination want to believe. Means because the truth is right there in front of you. It always has been. Means you just have to be willing to see it. Prioritize self-respect and growth. Shift focus back to yourself, your purpose, goals, and growth. Means the right woman will meet you halfway. Means not keep you guessing. There comes a time when you have to remind yourself that your life cannot revolve around whether or not someone calls or texts you. Your worth means your value and your future are not tied to the notifications on your phone. Too often means people allow themselves to be consumed by the effort they're giving to someone who doesn't reciprocate, and in the process means they forget the most important relationship of all, the one they have with themselves. When she never reaches out first, it's not just about her lack of effort, means it's also about your opportunity to redirect that focus back to your own self, respect, and your own growth. Think about it for a moment. Every text you wait on means every unanswered call, every time you pick up your phone hoping to see her name, that's energy. That's time, attention, and emotion being poured into uncertainty means. And what if you took that same energy and poured it into yourself instead? What if instead of waiting, you were building? What if means instead of hoping she would finally put in effort, you were putting effort into your goals, your dreams, and your purpose? That shift not only changes how you feel, means it changes how the world sees you. Because here's the truth, self-respect is magnetic. People are drawn to those who carry themselves with dignity, means who don't beg for validation, who know what they deserve and refuse to settle for less. When you prioritize your growth, you send a message, not just to her, means, but to yourself that your life is bigger than any one person's attention. You remind yourself that you are not here to chase, to beg, or to settle. You are here to rise, means to evolve and to surround yourself with people who genuinely value you. And when you start to live with that mindset, everything shifts. You walk differently, means you talk differently, you hold your boundaries differently. Suddenly, it's not about whether she texts or not, means it's about whether her effort aligns with the standard you've set for yourself. It's about whether she brings value to your life or drains it. Means that's the power of prioritizing self-respect. It becomes the filter through which you decide who gets access to your energy. Growth also plays a vital role here. Means because the more you grow, the more you realize that your worth doesn't come from someone else's recognition. It comes from what you're building, means what you're becoming and how you see yourself. When you focus on personal development, whether that's your career, your fitness, your education, or your mindset, means you begin to rise above the need for constant reassurance from anyone else. You don't need her text to feel important. You don't need her call to feel seen, means you already see yourself, you already know your direction, and you already have purpose guiding your path, means. And here's the beauty of it. When you're living in your purpose, when you're chasing your goals and staying true to your values, means the right person will naturally be drawn to you. You won't have to beg for their attention. They'll want to give it freely, means you won't have to question whether or not you matter. They'll make sure you feel it without doubt, means that's what happens when you stop pouring into people who don't invest back. You create space for the ones who will, means. But none of this is possible if you keep tying your sense of self to whether she calls or texts first. That's giving away your power, means. That's placing your happiness in the hands of someone who hasn't shown the consistency to deserve that responsibility. Your power comes back the moment you say, means, I deserve better than this, and I choose to focus on me. Your power grows when you stop chasing validation and start chasing excellence in your own life, means. It doesn't mean you stop caring about relationships. It doesn't mean you close yourself off. It simply means you hold yourself to a higher standard. Means you're no longer content with being an option. You're no longer okay with one-sided effort. You respect yourself enough to say, if you can't meet me halfway, means, then I will keep walking my path without you. That level of self-respect not only protects your heart, it ensures that when the right person does come along, means you'll recognize them instantly because they won't make you question your worth. they'll reflect it back to you.